Douglas Allen Bickford, President and CEO of Say I Love You in the Mirror Productions, broadcasting live out of my 105-year-old house here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, in the Mules Edition, and from my hometown, which is Klamath Falls, Oregon, is my hometown. Gateway to one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is Crater Lake National Park. You got to check it out. It's a really nice place. Okay, beautiful lake. It's one of the deepest lakes. I think it's one of the deepest lakes in the entire United States, freshwater lakes. But I'm not sure about that, but I think it is. Anyway, I am on YouTube and Facebook Live, teaching all my Facebook friends and my YouTube friends how to be positive. There's absolutely only one way that you can be positive about how, where, and what you are, okay? And that's to attain and maintain a thing called self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, self-love, or other words for it, right? It's how you feel about yourself inside. What self-esteem is, most people don't even know what 2 words even mean. But what it is we've all been in romantic relationships. You know, when you first meet that person, that good feeling, you know, they're your soulmate, they can do no wrong, they walk on water, you're bragging to all your family and friends about how great these people are, okay? And both people are doing the same thing. Well, what self-esteem is that good feeling that you have for that other person when you get in a brand new romantic relationship. Dr. Susanna McMahon, 73, lives in Madrid, Texas with her husband. Wrote this book called The Portable Therapist 30 years ago. It was published in 1992. Every lesson in it talks about, it's in question form, it doesn't have chapters. I call them lessons. Every lesson in it talks about how we've been trained and taught not to have self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, self-love. Back then, they were using the television, the state governments, the religion, churches, to teach us to feel bad about ourselves, okay? Now, it's 1,000 times worse with the social media, even right here on where I'm broadcasting. That's why the 2 words self-esteem, nobody knows what it is, and nobody's teaching it, and on today's day, and nobody's telling you how to get it, okay? And it's like a taboo subject. You can't even talk to people about self-esteem. They don't even know what the 2 words even mean, and they look at you like you're from another planet if you ask them, hey, do you know what self-esteem is? And they're like, well, I don't know. Anyway, because nobody's teaching it. That's why Douglas Allen Bickford is here teaching you how to attain it and maintain it. And it comes out of this book, okay? Dr. Susanna McMahon, she's a psychiatrist. She has a degree in psychology, a doctorate. She also has a master's in philosophy, okay? She's had a counselor, a therapist many years. I don't know if she's still doing it or not, but I am her spokesperson, okay? As a psychiatrist, what the psychiatrist is, they study the science of the mind. They know how the brain functions as much as they possibly can. That's why she went to school for 10 years, so she could become a psychiatrist. But anyway, so what psychiatrists do, people will hire them to fix their unhealthy mind. Dr. Susanna McMahon's had thousands of clients. She knew in order for her clients to get a healthy mind, they had to attain and maintain self-esteem. So she knew she had to come up with a concept for them to give themselves self-esteem. Nobody can give it to you except for you, okay? So here's that very simple concept that she came up with. It's called mirror therapy. She's the originator of mirror therapy, to give her clients self-esteem. Say 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily without fail. I love you, I love my inner child, I'm worthy to be loved, worthy to love, I'm full of goodness. Those 4 things will instantaneously give you self-esteem if you say it to yourself in the mirror. Instead of criticizing yourself, folks. We all do it, especially when we get older. Okay? So, to maintain that self-esteem, you have to practice it. It's like lifting weights. If you start lifting weights and you stop, you have to start over from scratch. Self-esteem is the exact same thing for the brain. Okay? You have to say it daily, literally for the rest of your life. I love Douglas Allen Bickford. I love my inner child. Worthy to be loved, worthy to love. I am full of goodness. It will take you less than 10 seconds. Just like that. So you have to say it to yourself, like I said, every day for the rest of your life. I've been doing it for well over 18 months now. And it has transformed me. I am full of self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. That's why I'm very, very confidently spreading this message from Dr. Susanna McMahon. It is my life's work to teach you how to attain and maintain self-esteem. I'm going to keep doing it for the rest of my life, probably, because it's very little time out of my day to do this, except for the uploading and all that stuff. I have like 20 YouTube channels and, I don't know, 10 Facebooks or something, but I'm going to continue to do it because I care about you all out there. I'm probably one of the very few that actually do. Okay, I'm a real person out here. So anyway, the reason it's so vital as a human being to attain and maintain self-esteem. We cannot be content without it. What content means is you feel good about how, where, and what you are. It's also known as internal peace. There are 11 things that people are using to try to be content. They are Facebook. It's like the #1 thing now. Okay, Facebook. Drugs, alcohol, sex, food, television, gambling, religion, another person, material possessions, or money. Those 11 things are all known as externals. They're outside of yourself. They will make you content temporarily, but that good feeling never lasts. Think about the drug high, right? The drug high always goes away. And think about the warm, fuzzy feeling with the alcohol. That feeling goes away. So you have to do just more of those 2 substances to maintain the content, that good feeling. Okay? And then the other 9 things are exactly the same thing. Same way. Okay? There's absolutely only one thing that's going to make you permanently content and give you internal peace. And that's to say, daily for the rest of your life, the 4 things to yourself in the mirror. I love you, I love my inner child, I'm worthy to be loved, I'm worthy to love, I'm full of goodness. Then that will give you internal peace. Okay. The other reason it's so vital as a human being, it's absolutely the most important thing you can have as a human being, folks, to attain and maintain self-esteem, is you can't love without it, and you can't be loved. Let me go back, though. Let me stop right there. The reason she came up with mirror therapy, okay, and the reason it's so powerful is we cannot lie to ourselves in the mirror. It's a psychological event that happens. That's why you can get in front of the mirror and very easily, especially when we get older, because we're imperfect, very easily criticize yourself or say bad things about yourself or think them, because that's how you feel about yourself. You can't say good things to yourself in the mirror, and those 4 things are a really good thing to say to yourself in the mirror, because you cannot lie to yourself in the mirror. You don't feel like that about yourself. And that's why mirror therapy is so powerful. So, the very first time you do it, folks, you'll have to force yourself to do it like I did. It'll seem very strange and awkward. In fact, it's so strange and awkward, even me to tell you that. It's like, whoa, that sounds crazy. And it does. But, so, force yourself beyond that weird feeling, that strange and awkward feeling. Do it anyway. The more you say it, the more you'll believe it, and the more you'll feel it. And then you will feel good about yourself. And then you'll be able to say all kinds of good things about yourself after you start attaining and maintaining self-esteem. But, like I said, you have to do it for the rest of your life, and it'll take you less than 10 seconds, folks. So, like I said, the other reason is we can't love or be loved without self-esteem. Okay? So what happens is you'll attract somebody else just like you in a romantic relationship that doesn't love themselves, doesn't have it. So, after you get together and then you move in and all that stuff, whether you marry them or you don't marry them, that good feeling goes away, which you thought was love, and it's not love, because you can't love or be loved without self-esteem. So once that good feeling goes away, that's when the fights and the arguments start. You know, the cheating on each other, the lies, the drug and alcohol use, getting in the car, going down the road. I got to get away from this maniac. And telling all your family and friends about how terrible these people are to you. Okay? And then because of the relationship turned toxic, you'll split up or separate or divorce. And then the same two people, excuse me, will go out and the exact same thing will happen in the next relationship. Because you got in another one without self-esteem. It's why I've been married 4 times and divorced 4 times. That's why I've had many failed relationships. It's why you've been married more than once and had many failed relationships. And you didn't even know why. I didn't know why. And it's because I didn't have self-esteem. Okay? Because I got somebody just like me. Alright? The next thing that'll happen with 2 people that got involved with no self-esteem is you'll stay in that relationship forever. There's a lot of people doing that too. Okay? Because they don't want to be a failure. They're being codependent on each other. They can't be alone. They don't want to be an embarrassment to all their family friends. They're afraid to leave and they have nowhere to go. And so they'll stay in that toxic relationship forever, even though they both know it's done. No sex, no intimacy, no nothing. And then all the little innuendos is going back and forth all the time. And then at that point, it becomes a dysfunctional family. They pump out. A dysfunctional family creates more dysfunctional families down the line. And all the emotional, physical, and sexual abuse just gets swept under the rug by all the family members and all the grandkids and all that. And the cycle just continues. Okay? And the last thing that'll happen, 2 people without self-esteem that got together, excuse me, and been in many failed relationships, many failed marriages, will just exit out of the romantic scene altogether. And they'll just be alone for the rest of their lives. There's a lot of people doing that too. You can see these people out and about. Then they quit taking care of themselves too, because they feel like nobody can love themselves. What's the point of, putting on makeup on as a woman or shaving as a man? Just like exit out, okay? Basically of life. But they're just as miserable without self-esteem, alone as they were in the relationship, because you cannot be content. You cannot have internal peace without self-esteem. Okay. So, my style of teaching, there's always a solution. If all parties involved said 4 things to themselves in the mirror daily without fail for the rest of their lives, and get this book and go through the book together if you're in a toxic relationship, it will fix all those scenarios. And but all participants have to do it. Okay. It can't be, you know. And if one person wants to change, seek change, and the other doesn't, it'll give the person that wants to change the courage and the strength to get out of a toxic relationship. Seriously, it works, folks. Okay? I'm one of the ones that I haven't jumped back in another relationship. I have a relationship jump the very first time in my life. We're pushing 21 months now because I attained and maintained self-esteem. I'm happy living by myself alone, doing what I do. But I'm not done with the romantic relationships, because as soon as you attain self-esteem, a healthy other people will come around that have self-esteem. And if they do come around that don't have self-esteem, they won't want to be around you, because if you have self-esteem, because you have it and they don't. Okay, so they really won't want to hang out with you. Okay, I mean, I'm witnessing this in my life. Okay, and then I won't be around discouraging others. That's my choice. And anyway, so I'm going through this book one lesson at a time. Here's that next lesson. I just got a new book here. Lesson 53 from Dr. Susanna McMahon, a psychiatrist, folks. So this stuff ain't coming from me. It will change your life if you do this very simple concepts in this book. And those 4 things and see yourself in the mirror were from her, not from me. So you got to get me out of the equation. I was abused as a child. Why do I abuse myself? Most of us, now listen to these words, most of us, I'm talking billions of people on the planet, right? Most of us have been abused emotionally. Too many of us have been abused physically or sexually. Think about this, folks. Billions of people. We may think that because we have been abused by others, we would go out of our way not to abuse ourselves. In actuality, just the opposite occurs. Abused children tend to grow up into abusive adults. This is a good example of how powerful our training has been. And here's that training comes in, right? That she talks about in every lesson. We've been taught not to value ourselves and not to take care of our own needs. We have been good students of our early training, and we tend to follow the script that has been written for us. Wow. It's a script, folks. This script dictates that we are not worthy of being treated well, that we are bad and need to be punished. Woo! Our early abuse robs us of our basic integrity and awareness of our innate goodness. It teaches us that we all have a terrible dark side that we must be afraid of. Abuse teaches us not to trust ourselves, that we don't deserve to be safe and secure and loved. It kills our spirit and stops our risk-taking tendencies. We learn to repress our own feelings and to manipulate others to get our needs met. Abuse is a terrible teacher. The abusive script is a lose-lose situation that produces a vicious and dangerous cycle. That teacher can be overruled, and the script can be discarded. I have discarded this script. I was emotionally, sexually, and physically abused as a child. But there's billions of you out there in the same boat, folks. This does not have to be a hopeless situation, and it doesn't. I'm proof. The way out of this abusive cycle is to begin with the realization that you did not write this script. And you do not have to live it. And I don't live the script anymore. You are not responsible for your early training. And it is not your fault that you were abused. You did not deserve it. You cannot control it. You are completely blameless. No matter how difficult a child you may have been, you did not merit being abused. No one does. There can be no question about who was wrong. The person who abused you was wrong. Completely. You must accept that you were a victim and that you have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of or to hide. You do not have to forgive yourself for something that was not your fault. Let go of the guilt. It is not yours. Repeat to yourself many times, it was not my fault. I have done all this stuff, folks. Not my fault. Until you really believe this, this is a critical first step. The second step out of the script is to recognize that you are good. No matter what you have done or what has been done to you, you are good. This goodness is innate. It came into the world with you. It will leave with you unless you fight against it. Say to yourself many times, I am good. I've done all this stuff, folks, and I am good. And so are you. And you, until you feel the rightness of this. When you believe it, you will know it instinctively. I know it now, that I'm full of goodness. And you are all full of goodness just like me. Okay. When you believe it, you will know it instinctively. You will become aware of your goodness. And this is a very powerful awareness. That's why I am spreading this message on Facebook and YouTube. And I have been well over a year on YouTube, and now I am into, 4 or 5 months on, 5 months on Facebook. And I'm going to keep at it, because you're all worth it out there, because you're all full of goodness. When you have completed these 2 steps, you will be ready to heal yourself. This healing process often begins with anger at the perpetrator of the abuse. This anger is healthy and not to be avoided. You get to be angry. Look at all you lost. You may need professional help to deal with this anger in a constructive way, but you can get the professional help from the psychiatrist in this book by saying 4 things to yourself in the mirror. This stuff happened to me. She's my psychiatrist. She's my therapist. And she cured me. She helped me heal myself of my emotional, sexual, and physical abuse as a child. Okay, and all the way up through till I was 65 years old, folks, living in an old RV in Christmas Valley, Oregon. Okay, I have healed myself, and it's because of her in this book. Because she knows the brain. Okay. But the 4 things to yourself in the mirror will heal you, folks. I guarantee it. And so does she. This anger is healthy and not to be avoided. You get to be angry. Look at all you lost. You may need professional help, which is in this book, to deal with this anger in a constructive way. You need to turn the anger outward, away from yourself. But you do not need to act on the anger directly to the perpetrator, because it's not going to do any good. It'll just get you in trouble. You do not need to turn this anger into abusive behavior, or you will be right back in the negative script. After the anger, forgiveness occurs, and understanding develops. that your abuser was also following a destructive script. So it wasn't even their fault. It's like my parents, right? They did it to me. But they were also following the destructive script. And I've been able to forgive them everything they've done to me. Okay? My mother and my father. And then all the people I've been able to, my last marriage, I had to forgive her too and let go and love to her too. Just like I did my parents. She hurt me terribly. She emotionally abused me for 3.5 years. But everybody, I let go and love to everybody that's emotionally abused me. Ever since I attained and maintained self-esteem. And I do it daily. I say it daily to, I call it the Great Spirit. I say it in a voice diary all the time. Okay? And since I've done all this, I've healed myself. And it's thanks to Dr. Susanna McMahon. I found this book accidentally. I believe in God. I call it Great Spirit. But I believe I was led to my son's house to get this book and to do what I'm doing. Everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe. With forgiveness comes letting go. The final step to becoming script-free is to becoming script-free. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your own behaviors. If you continue to abuse yourself or others, now it is your fault because you know you have other choices. Up to now, you may have been caught in a pattern that was not in your making. Now you know differently, and you are free to make your own choices. There is no good reason ever to abuse yourself. There is no need ever to punish yourself or to be destructive. You can love yourself, accept your dark side, forgive yourself for your mistakes, let go of your painful past, and get on with the business of living to the best of your abilities. You can all do this, folks. I've done it. If you choose to continue to hate yourself and to behave in destructive ways, recognize now that this is your choice and not the result of faulty training. Because now that I've told you how to attain and maintain self-esteem, now it's your fault because you know how not to be that way anymore. Your inner child is now your victim. This child deserves to be loved, deserves to be treated well, deserves to be safe and secure. You are the only one who can compensate for the past. What better purpose do you have for your life? Question mark. Wow. There's another very important lesson for you, folks. I'm going to have another one for you tomorrow, which will be lesson 54. I am doing so much and nothing's working. What's wrong? Question mark. You all have a great day out there. I can be your mentor when you start going through this change, and you will start going through a change when you start saying those 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily without fail, instead of criticizing yourself. 458-232-5238. That's my phone number. Call me anytime, day or night. You all have a great Tuesday out there, and I will talk to you tomorrow.